All righty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Earth Rising. I am Michele Amburgey, the Awakener. We are so glad you're here listening to us, whether live or coming in later. We love you. And we're so happy that you're here. New Earth Rising is a beautiful YouTube channel that is all about everything spiritual, metaphysical, magical, mystical. We talk about all kinds of things here. And we are open. If you guys ever have any ideas or any things that you'd like to hear about, we'd love to hear about it. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we're on. And I am here with my best shenanigator, my super duper buddy, Sharon. And Sharon, give us a little talk about you. What are you doing? What do you do? Let's do this really quick. I know a lot of our people, they know about us. We've got information in our description below about who we are, but tell us a little bit. What are you doing? What are you doing these days? Mic on.
Okay, what am I doing these days? There we go. Well, I'm turning the mic on first. That's what I'm doing.
That's usually what I do.
Yeah. Let me see. Well, for being of service to the planet in that. Sorry. Okay, let me get started here. All right. In being of service to the planet, what I do is I'm a psychic medium. I'm also a hypnotherapist, and I specialize in past life therapy, soul retrieval, that type of therapy, because I know how important it is. I'm also a channel higher beings, and I'm just feel so blessed to be here and be able to help people any way that I can with my abilities and my gifts. And thank you everyone for watching.
That are here. Amazing gifts too, by the way.
Thank you. You too, darling.
Woo.
What do you do?
What do? I am a psychic medium. I don't use the word psychic that often anymore. There seems to be some negative connotation, so I use the word intuitive more. I work as a master energy healer, light language facilitator. I've got 22 different energy healing modalities, certified clinical hypnotherapist, past life regressionist, metaphysical therapist, just loving life, loving the unicorns, loving the dragons, just enjoying everything, being a part of all this. I am an awakener. Part of my soul's mission is to help to awaken mankind. That's huge. Granted, I'm not the only one, so thank God I'm not doing it all on my own.
Right.
But I just offer classes. I offer private sessions. I have a new membership site on my website, micheleamburgey.com. Doing classes on Learn It Live. I'm coming into another big leveling up with all my work. Super excited. Would love for you to come and join me. And I am just so happy that Sharon and I have decided to do New Earth Rising. There's a magic that happens between Sharon and I that is so fun. We totally enjoy this. You guys are going to have laughter. We're going to be silly. We're going to get down to some serious topics because we're talking about psychic protection today. And this is really important, especially these days. Some of you may have noticed it's weird out there. Things are weird. Yeah. And part of it is we're really in this shift of the ages. We all knew it was coming. But in this, there is such a vivid ability to see the vividness between the light and the dark, between the positive and the negative, the heavy and the light. There's a lot of different ways we can talk about it. We live in a world of duality, and we're really feeling it. And it's weird. When you can feel that heaviness and yet feel the lightness at the same time, or seesawing between the two. I know I have a lot of clients that come to me that talk about, they're like, I'm so exhausted. I don't know how long I can do this. I don't even know why. I'm exercising, taking my vitamins, eating right. I'm just exhausted. And part of that is this feeling, this dichotomy, feeling this duality that we live in. But I can say, hang in there. It's not going to be forever. But that's why we're talking about psychic protection, learning what to do with your energy fields, because a lot of times we get, our energy just gets bogged down. It gets clogged up, our chakras, aren't functioning right. And sometimes it's not what you're doing, eating, drinking, exercising, it's your energy. It's your energy. And we need to pay attention to that. And so Sharon, let's start let's start with you. Like, what do you do? How do you protect your energy fields? What would you tell our peeps about psychic protection? Because there's so many different ways to do it.
Mhm. Yeah, and thank you, Michelle. And I believe that everyone has different tools once they realize that this is something that's really, really important, different tools that work for them. And we'll be sharing what works for us and what we may teach in our classes or with our clients or anything like that. So what helps me tremendously is to stay in a vibration as high as possible, to keep my vibration as high as possible. And that includes not living in fear. And I know that we do have a lot of crazy things going on right now. But fear is an energy, that an emotion, I guess you would call it. Fear is actually the opposite of love. And I'm sure we all know that. But it's an energy that keeps our vibration really low when we're in fear. And it's okay to have discernment and things like that,
Yeah.
where something, don't, if a car's coming at you, you have that that feeling of
What it's for.
yeah, right. But and we know not to step in front of a car or things like that. But being in fear, constant fear, or fearing things that we don't need to be fearing, being in worry, where our mind is worried about things that haven't happened, and we just keep thinking about them happening, that type of thing, really lowers our energy. So what I do is I take the time every day, actually, to connect with my guidance system, my guides, myself, my higher self. And I've mentioned this before, I call it devotion. My devotion time is I devote to me. And when I connect, I am able to feeling that connection of love and support and total, how do I put it, where nothing here can really hurt me. I mean, we all die, right? We all die. And that's what, a lot of this narrative that's being pushed on us is about, is fear of death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, and when we get to be afraid to live our life, then we're in a vibration where we are prone to dark energies, or those types of dark entities, I guess you could say, that can hang around, because we're not in a place of high vibrations. And so what I do is I play music after my devotion time, or as soon as I get up, that kind of thing. I play music that makes me feel good. Music is really good with lifting your spirits. I make sure I laugh. I don't even have to make sure I laugh. Just, laugh, find something funny, talk to your friends. And Michelle and I laugh so much, don't we? We're always laughing. That lifts your vibration tremendously. I was actually shocked and surprised to see some kind of a survey that said that there are a lot of people who don't only laugh like once or twice a day, if that. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. That is sad when you think about it. That really is, that actually take the time to, or that will laugh, or in that space of not having that type of energy within, around them.
Yeah.
Where they can laugh. I get the biggest laughs laughing at myself. So
Totally.
right.
And it's interesting when you can start kind of laughing at things, even the things that cause you fear, even some of the tragedies of life. I mean, obviously there's some things you just don't laugh at or with.
No,
But life is hilarious.
isn't it? I
It
know.
is.
It
And the
is.
things
Yeah.
that we do as humans, we're just weirdos.
I know. I know. It's ludicrous. It's a lot of it is ludicrous. And so, not taking myself so seriously too helps. And and Yeshua taught me that. My main dude, he taught me not to take myself so seriously.
Yeah. It's a good thing to learn. It really is. But sometimes it's hard, when we've gone through a lot, when we've really trudged through a lot of dark stuff, it's hard when we're still wounded and we're still hurting deep inside. It's hard to laugh. And sometimes that old adage, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta, put a smile on your face and just try.
Yeah.
It's weird when you start doing that. There's like laughter yoga.
Yes, I
Where
was
it's
just
like you
going to
just
say
laugh.
that. Are you psychic?
A little bit.
Oh, okay. Are you intuitive? I meant to say.
Oh yeah, no, I don't like the word psych. Ah. But it's funny. I went to one of those laughter yoga things, and I actually went because I'm like, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. I
Oh,
got to
it's
see
so
what
much
it
fun.
is.
Yeah.
And I had a ball. It was so fun.
It's contagious. Laughter is contagious. It
is.
really is. Yeah, totally. When you don't feel like laughing, make yourself laugh, and I promise you, you will not be sorry. Yeah. Another thing that really helps me too is to listen to our intuition, listen to our gut feelings. Because I know that when we don't, guess what? Things happen, and
Yeah.
they're usually not what we want to happen. So listen to that. And it's okay to feel down during your day, or, if something's blindsides you or something like that, that's okay. It's part of it. Always look at something like that. What I try to do, and I'm not going to preach here, but what I do is I look at it as an opportunity. Okay, what am I going to learn from this? What is it that I need to learn from it? Yeah, it was tough and I feel crappy, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But how can I lift myself up? So when we're constantly thinking about how do we lift ourselves up out of what has us down,
Yeah.
then we are not primed for psychic attack, and we're not primed for darker energies to come around, because there's too much light. Okay. They just can't, the darkness can't live with all that light. But the biggest block to bringing in light is fear. FYI, is fear. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love. Even I think the hardest thing to do is love someone or some situation. Send it love. Think about it in love form, is people and situations that we don't like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to love someone we love.
It's standing toe to toe with those ones that aren't so lovable.
There you go. Yeah.
But that's okay, because that's our job.
Yes.
Is to love everyone.
It is, no matter what.
Yeah. We don't have to like them. We don't have to play with them.
No.
But loving them is a compassionate act. Because a lot of times people that misbehave, or that, are not the most pleasant to be around. Maybe it's not even misbehaving, just unpleasant people. Usually they're very wounded. They're very, they're in pain inside. And when we can have that compassion, we're helping to lift them too. Right? Just that little bit of love. Because usually when people are in those kind of states where they just can't get past their trauma, it's people abandon them. People don't want to be around that. And when you can be one point of love, one point of light, that's a very compassionate things to do. And, when you lift others, you lift yourself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And that brings me to another point that I feel was helped me tremendously when my guys started working with me in my meditations and my devotions, is healing what we have going on that keeps us feeling heavy, because those lower energies are heavy. Light is light, right? Light, it's light. Okay. But so that's why we notice the the emotional heavy or the negative emotions
Yeah.
more prevalent within us is because they're heavier, right? And
Yeah.
that's why we are programmed, or the way our hologram is, to hang on to them, keep them going through our thought, our emotional bodies, our mental bodies, our physical body, that kind of thing, and our thought processes and emotions, is because it's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then guess what? We get used to it. We get used to having that heaviness, and it's hard to let go of it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, a thought just crossed my mind. When we're little, who hasn't had this happen when you're little and you do something wrong? And the only way we figure out what's right is by doing a few things wrong.
Right.
But having somebody, usually with a finger, saying, think about what you've done, that's a programming. Because we get stuck in that. Oh my God, thinking about how many of us, think about something that happened 30 years ago that we haven't let go of, either the other person or persons or situation for ourselves. And it stays in there, and it keeps the vibe down.
Yeah, it does. And that's part of the healing process, is when we have those hurts and those pains, those wounds that are still stuck within us, in our devotions, in our meditations or reflections, those start to come up. And we have to heal them at the time. We have to spend the time, and that lifts us up. I mean, exponentially, it lifts us up so much. And we can, and you can, I know I feel it. Just when it happens, don't you, Michelle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do. You just start feeling like everything just falls away, and just being in that wonderful, blissful energy.
Yeah.
It just, everything is beautiful.
Yeah. It feels so much better. Because feeling depressed and believe me, I've been there, feeling depressed, feeling angry and and sad. I mean, shame, guilt, sadness, grief, those are the lowest frequencies on the emotional frequency scale. Yeah. And it's easy to get stuck there. So working with that, find some type of healing modality or healing work that you can work with to help uncover that and bring it up and heal it. And that was the work that that my guides and Yeshua did with me for a long time. I mean, we still get hit, we still get gut punched every once in a while. We just have to heal it.
Like, bam, it's like, oh man, again.
I know, right? Yeah, or 2x4s, that kind of thing. We were just talking about that. Yeah. So connect to nature. Nature is a huge healer. Get off our computers, our phones, our TVs, whatever, get off the screens and get in nature. Nature can, and we already feel that everyone here is super aware. But that getting out in nature, it's like, whoa, why haven't I done this more and sooner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can clear a host of ills just taking a walk on the beach or in the forest. And you know what, Sharon, we have a question from our friend Timothy. You want to take a question?
Oh, hey, Timothy. I know Timothy. Yes.
Yeah, Timothy. Yeah. And he says, have you heard of the theory of parasites that are actually lower vibrational beings? And he's saying, I'm only bringing this up because of what I experienced last night. So yes, we have.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of what we're talking about a little bit. Yeah. Well, a lot. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And they get into your energy fields and, they'll just start messing with you. Depends on, what level of power they have. Right now, I'm noticing that there's just a lot of little, like little gnat type dark beings that are around that just, it's like they go around, they tip stuff over. They're those annoying, like almost like little fairy energy. But what's really important is for you to understand that getting your energy right with yourself, keeping your vibration up. And like Sharon was saying, prayer, meditation on a regular basis, doing your devotions every single day. That is one of the most important ones to do, because if you get in that habit of doing that, you begin to just kind of keep that state where a lot of times those things stop bothering you.
Right.
Too, and it really is that. But there's so many other things that you can do: doing an entity clearing, taking a salt bath, calling on the violet flame of limitless transmutation. That's one of my favorite ones. I pull it through my chakras, expand it out my body and into my energy fields. And then taking authority and responsibility for your experiences. That's another big one. And that's the one that stops a lot of people, because you taking responsibility for what you're experiencing. And there's a lot of depth in that too, because, if someone comes up and slaps me in the face, that's not my fault. He slapped me, that's not my fault. But there are a lot of other layers of that, to where there's still something within me that is still believing maybe I deserve to be slapped. Maybe I'm not able to protect myself. There's a few different consciousnesses that could still bring an experience like that in. But once we identify with us, oh my gosh, why did I have that experience? And you take responsibility for that experience. That's 90% of the work, is just saying, okay, what did I do?
Right.
But really it's more, what do I have to learn from this?
And what am I putting out?
Yep.
Yes.
That is the real question. What do I have to learn from this? And asking, just being aware of it, you got 90%. Asking, what do I have to learn from this? You are 99% of the way there. And just a little prayer meditation, and you'll get that answer, and you'll get it very quickly, because that is happening to you, for you to come to that state to where you can be like, oh, okay,
right,
I get it now. And then as soon as that happens, you won't have those experiences again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You move that
Timothy,
energy.
Excuse me, Michelle, I want to address what he asked about
Mhm.
and also I want to address sleep paralysis too, because Christine asked a question about sleep paralysis, or is talking about it. Now, what I feel, those parasites that you're talking about, what I've heard and what I understand is they're thought forms, and they were intentionally created as parasites. And so in order for those parasites, whatever you want to call them, those thought forms, to leave us alone, you have to make sure that you are not in that vibration where they can enter your energy field. And keeping light in your energy field, and making sure that you are in connection with your beings, okay, with your higher light beings, the beings that you work with on a regular basis, can keep them away. They are, what I understand and what I've found out and learned from my peeps is that they cannot come near you as long as you are in that space of staying in a, how do I put it, a place of knowing that they can't hurt you. Okay. As soon as you're aware of them and you allow them into your awareness, and you become afraid of them, that kind of thing, and send that energy out there, then it becomes easier for you to be for them to enter your energy field. I don't really like using the word attack, because I don't like that word, but I don't like it. I just don't like it. I feel it's a more of a situation where we are allowing this in our energy field in some way, like Michelle was talking about, where we have something to learn from it, or we we haven't healed things that are coming up for us, and we haven't looked at them. we haven't dealt with them, that type of thing. So there might be holes in our energy field, that type of thing, where they can, where these parasites, these thought forms can, because all of us are energy, right? And everything is started with thought. Okay. So where they can enter our energy field and wreak havoc.
Mhm.
So recognizing that right away, and then that's my take on it. Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Yeah. And
yeah.
and that's one of the things too, is you'll notice whenever you get any kind of thing, whether it's a full-blown entity, which that's kind of rare. It takes a lot of energy and consciousness for a being to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But these little thought forms, like what Sharon's talking about, we have programming from television and media that any of that kind of stuff is, it's super scary. And so something will come tickling the outside of the energy fields. Hey, what's going on in there? And we get like, and it immediately lowers our field, our vibration, and it makes it so much easier for the energies just to get in. And a lot of times, they're just kind of like annoying people. Sometimes they just want to get in and just, wreak a little havoc, just make themselves known. And it's important to recognize it right away and to clear your fields and clear your energy and to, send them along in a loving way. I have a wonderful entity release that I use that, brings in the Christ light and the Christ love, and go with Christ. And it's amazing how powerful it is.
Yeah.
It's
And not
amazing.
only the what we're doing is transforming. We're transforming darker energies into light. And that's really important, because I feel that, and what I've been taught is that if we are thinking about being attacked psychically as something that is, how do I put it, something that is bad and evil, and and we're reacting in a negative way, saying, and putting ourselves in a place of anger and rage and stuff like that, which is okay to be there in certain circumstances. But when we are in that frequency, we're actually feeding it. And what we need to do is bring in, just like we were talking about, bring in light and love within our energy field and our countenance. Then the darker energies are transformed.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught. And I could see in my mind's eye as Yeshua was teaching me to release the darkness, any darkness, because we all have it, or we wouldn't be here. We'd be up in the higher planes as light beings, complete light beings, which we are. But, we're down here to heal whatever we have to heal. Just to see the darker energies, the parasites, the anything that is keeping us anchored. And we do need to be grounded, of course, but anchored in lower frequencies,
Mhm.
and it just dissipates.
And sometimes too, it's almost like they're distractions.
Mm-hmm.
We're sitting, we're doing our prayers and meditations every day, and we get up, we begin our day, and then little weird things starts happening, and I'm feeling icky, and that just feels like something yucky just splattered on me, and it becomes a distraction. Your mind leaves that state of connection to the higher and starts operating too. And that's why it's so important to recognize it, clear it, and put your mind back on the highest and on the most beautiful things. And it's so important too of what you're putting into your mind in the first place. If you're watching TV, there's so many people that watch, scary movies. They watch stuff on YouTube that's really frightening and things. And, what you focus on, you're going to, is going to begin to build around you. And, I used to kind of like scary movies and stuff like that. And I also had a problem with dark entities showing up. And it took me a long time to really clear all of that out, because I kind of like the excitement of it. But when I found out, holy cow, this is real, it was like, oh, wait a minute. I started backpedaling as fast as I could, man. And that's part of what turned me kind of towards spirituality, is to learn about, why are things showing up at the foot of my bed? Why do I get touched? What the heck is going on? And it helps so much when I moved out of watching that kind of stuff and only started watching things that brought joy and happiness. And I'm a sucker for rom-coms and just all that happiness, and it made a huge difference. A lot of it is recognizing and dealing with it and having the tools. That's what Sharon and I do too, is, we've studied for a long time and have the tools to really help. And that's why we're here, sharing these things with you guys. We've got some comments here that are wonderful. Oh, these guys are talking amongst themselves. Christine is saying she's been having these experiences since she was a child. She's saying, I can treat the energy and its intent, but it never manifests physically. Yeah, which is good.
Good.
And a lot of times it just takes consistent effort too, and keeping the vibe up, keeping the consciousness on the light and the love, not on the problem. Right.
Right. Yeah. And I know that when we talk about that, it's, it's easy to say, right? It's easy to say, oh, light and love, everything's light and love, oh, light and love. Because we go through challenges. That's part of the human condition. But the more that we get through things, that's the key, I feel, and what I've been taught. The more that we get through challenges, and not hold them within, and heal it at the time, deal with it at the time, take the time to heal it as it comes up. Then guess what? Then, like Yeshua says, and I've always asked him, how do you deal with these problems that come up? It's really, because at times when I hear awful things, information or whatever, or I have a challenge in my life that's really challenging. How do you deal with this? What do you do? What would Jesus do, kind of thing? And I mean, that is, what would you do? And he said he just lets it flow through him. Just let it flow through you. Don't let it stick. And that's, and the more we heal what's keeping us in the lower frequencies, the more free we are for energy to flow through us.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And the more often we experience these things and move through them, we gain confidence and we gain authority over our own experiences too. When you were talking about Jesus, I was feeling him. I was feeling that woo. And I was feeling his heart and his soul, and his demeanor was never changed. He was faced with these things and they flowed through him, but his heart remained the same, full of love. Just full of love. He just stood in that love. And I kind of was chuckling when you were talking, Sharon, because I'm a very loving person, but I have this mama bear warrior side.
I know. And he had that war when he tore the temple apart, that war, that's what came to mind.
Yep. Not in my father's house. And it's funny because I know I've come to him several times and saying, I'm sorry. And he always shows me throwing the money changers, the tax collectors, tables over. He was like, that's all you did. It's okay.
It's okay.
I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things that he's taught me too, is not to keep beating ourselves up.
Yeah.
You can't undo it. If we made an error in judgment or whatever, that's what we're here for, to learn from it. Right. Keep moving forward, learn from it, work through it, learn from it. But we beat ourselves up so much, and that really lowers our frequency, because then we have our background tape, which we repeat, which is another thing he taught me. My background tape, we repeat over and over that I'm not worthy, or this or that, or whatever. Whatever it is, it's negative, and we can hear it in our talk, in our speech. We hear, listen to how you talk to yourself and how you talk to others, and it will definitely tell you what you have going on in your background tape if you don't hear it.
Yeah. And also it's so interesting too, when you are around others and things get maybe a little heated, or things get, a little, tempers rise a little. listen carefully to what the other people are saying, because typically it's not about you. They're telling you about them. And so part of that is not taking everything personally either.
Mhm.
You know, it doesn't take you down. It flows through you, and your heart can remain filled with
Mhm.
love, like Jesus is explaining.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're in the time right now, especially where people are just overwhelmed and confused and scared. And personally, I think that might be by design a little bit, keep our collective vibe down.
You think?
A
Yeah.
bit.
It's obvious. It's well, to any sensitive person, which I'm sure everyone here is, it's freaking obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so much more important now that we pay attention to these things, and that we, you know, deal with these shadowy things, because there's another aspect of this, and this is where I learned, is that it's all God. And if we, you know, if we continue to cast fear on them and feed them fear, they continue to be fear beings, and beings based in that. When we can stay in our love, you know, we are sending love to them, and we help to lift them, and, you know, and do healings and offer healings for these beings too. I know back when I was bold, before I had my butt kicked a few times with some of these,
Before you were bold?
before when
You're
I
not
was bolder, I was
bold
younger
now?
and a little bit bolder,
Gotcha.
whatever that song is. You know, I used to work with clearing like demonic type energies, and it was intense, but holding that space of love, that's where the sweet spot was.
Mhm.
And they'll do anything they can to get you out of that, you know, knocking on the walls, throwing stuff on the floor. It's like, you know, but I slipped a little. I got my butt kicked a couple of times. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, that's
And it was
a
intense. I
specialized
do it
type of
now
work.
differently.
Mhm.
I do it now differently than I used to be. I used to dun da da.
Well,
I
that's
know
how I
Reiki, I'm
imagine.
love and light.
That's how I imagine when I do house clearings or any kind of a clearing. I walk in with my posse. I got my, you know, ascended masters, whoever. I got Michael, you know, all my beings here with me. We're all like the superhero movies, right? We're all in slow motion
That's
walking
a
in together. Michael's got his sword, and I see him. I see him in my mind's eye. Here we come. Here we come. Anything that's in here is in for a surprise. Okay, here we go. We got it.
and I love it. It's so cool. Archangel Michael is cracking up right now.
I also wanted to, speaking of Archangel Michael, another good way to keep your vibration high and at peak efficiency is to cut cords on a regular basis, because anytime we think about someone, we think about a situation, or someone thinks about us, and we are involved in a situation, work, relationships, whatever, that are not good for us, anything like that. And, you know, with the news constantly feeds us all the fear mongering kind of stuff. Cut those cords. I didn't finish my sentence, but we create a cord, an energetic cord. And science has proven this. Research has proven this, that we send a cord to a person, to a situation that's energetic, because we're all energy, and there is a flow of energy going on in that cord. And if it's a lower energy than you, it's sucking your energy.
Yep.
Okay. So it's really important to take the time at the end of your day, or anytime during the day, or anytime you feel drained, to cut the cords. Ask Archangel Michael to cut them. I actually do a video on my other YouTube channel on how, you know, it's really easy. You just kind of sit there, you just sit there wherever you are, take a few deep breaths, ask Archangel Michael to cut any cords that are not of your highest good. You're not cutting cords that are of your highest good. Just any cords, energetic cords that are not of your highest good. And yeah, it works. You will feel a difference. I promise you.
Yeah, way better. And another thing that Archangel Michael taught me too was don't not only cut cords to people, but cut cords to places.
Yes.
cutting cords to all kinds of things, because
Mhm.
even places can drain your energy,
Mhm.
right? Have you ever gone into, sometimes it's really innocuous. You go into a restaurant and all of a sudden you're like, I need to take a nap.
Yeah.
There's an energy there, and just, cutting cords to places that you've been and stuff is important as well.
Right.
And then it leaves them back with their energy too.
Mhm.
Everybody to their corner.
Yeah, because inanimate, we call inanimate objects have energy, and they feel the energy. Chairs, tables, anything in your house. Your house has an energy. Your house has a spirit. Ooh, I have emotion with that. And so, just like the elementals that are in your yard and around you in nature, everything has an energy, and it takes on the energy that's around it. And if there's people in that space that are not in a good mood, or arguing and fighting. And I actually saw this happen in a restaurant one time. I experienced it. My date and I at the time, a few years back, 20 years or 15 years, we're sitting there waiting for a table at a restaurant. And I could see these people energetically, and I could just see, you can tell I love to people watch. They were arguing. There was this couple was arguing. You could just see the energy around them. Well, of course, we got to sit in that, though they got up and we got to sit there. So I thought, okay, let me see. Oh God. Oh gosh. Let's see what happens here. We were getting along really good until all of a sudden, after a few minutes, we started getting edgy, a little argumentative, that kind of thing. And I'm like, uh-oh, now we're being affected by it.
Things are getting sideways.
We were being affected by that space. And I got the information as I was reading into it, that there was something about that space that already had that energy before that couple sat down. So they didn't bring it there. They just picked up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drawn in.
Yeah.
I know I used to live near a police station, and I could, and it was before I started any of the spiritual stuff. This has been, God, I was 20, so like 700 years ago. And it was so weird, because when I first moved in there, I didn't notice it, but I started noticing, like, as the weekend would get close, there's just this energy, just this would begin. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I didn't have any point of reference. And then, like, kind of during the week, it was chill, and then it'd start building again on the weekends. Well, I lived in kind of a touristy town, so I thought it was that. Years later, I realized it was the police station, and they're all gearing up. And, when there was a full moon, it was the same kind of a thing, and they're all gearing up for crazy time. It's like, oh my gosh. And I had no idea, but it was like I couldn't sleep on the weekends. I work all week, couldn't sleep on the weekends. I finally ended up moving because I didn't know what it was, and I just was not happy there.
Wow.
And years later, it was being near that police station and all the crazy. And there was a little jail there, so you had people that were
not happy.
Up.
Not happy campers, I would imagine.
No. Maybe a little tipsy, maybe had a little drunken entities with them too. They love the drinkers.
So does Christine, did you have a question, or you? Okay, the more I work on myself and my perception and perspective are changing, the clearer and smoke screens, manipulations, and lies are to see. Boy, isn't that the truth?
So true. Yeah. Because that's the big plan, is to keep us blocked from our power and our spiritual, awesomeness. We are such powerful beings. And right now, where we are, I'm asking permission to say this, right now where we are in our evolution, we're still kind of have the boot on the neck, no, you're not going to rise. And we are these great, mighty beings whose time has come, and the more we can expand into that, the more power we have. And it's not even, in my mind, it's not that we conquer the darkness, that we bring light to the darkness. We take them with us too.
Mhm.
but sometimes they need to be put over there for a little while until they behave themselves. But we want everybody to rise, right? We want all of life to
Yeah.
be lifted by this. And it takes mighty beings to be able to do that. And all of you guys watching are one of them, or you wouldn't be here.
Yeah, and the way I was
Really is
taught,
true.
very true. The way I was taught, that everyone here is not at the same grade, and not in the same grade, right?
No,
So we would like people that maybe are of the darker agendas or whatever you want to call it, uh, have been in that space. Some of them, the ones at the top of the pyramid, for a very long time, but and so it's difficult for them to get out of that space. And it might take, another 26,000 years for them to move up and, into the higher planes. But for the people around, the common folk, I guess you could say, like us, right? It's difficult to, we can't judge anyone if they're not in that space and don't understand or don't see what we see. Does that make any sense? So,
absolutely.
and what I was shown was a kindergartner, and we talked about this, a kindergartner does not know or can't see what a third grader knows and sees and
Yeah.
understands. A third grader can't understand what a fifth grader knows and sees. And so that's helped me tremendously with understanding what people are, just where they are.
Yep.
Because of their soul growth. And we can never expect them, we can't ever expect them to see things the way we see them. And we can't make someone jump in, heal or move into the light, or
Yeah.
whatever it takes. If that makes, am I making any sense?
And that's why we love them.
Yes. And that's why
Without
it's,
condition.
thank
That's
you.
what
Thank you.
Jesus talked about. So may the
Yeah.
masters love one another. That's it.
Right.
Nothing
Right.
else. Just
And
love
that's what it
them.
all comes down to, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how
It,
we lift others. We don't have to
yeah.
do anything. We don't have to tell them what they're doing wrong. We don't have to cast you into the bowels of hell. We don't have to do any of that. We just love them.
Right.
I love you, dude. I know I had an entity in my home one time. I actually came in with my daughter, and it would come back at me and say, you can't tell me what to do. This is my daughter's home. And I'm like, no. And it was like, yeah, it is. And so I just started going, I love you. I love you. You are sacred, holy, and divine. I love you. And it stopped. And I remember I could feel the room like ripple. And I was like, ooh, and just kept, I love you. You're sacred and divine. And it slowly moved up into the corner, and it got all the way up into the corner. And I heard it go, damn. And then
Oh, wow.
poof. Ooh, I'm getting chills. Woo.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, there. And that was such a great learning moment, because I learned that was more powerful than all the entity clearings and everything that I had done trying to lift this being. And it was just love.
Yeah.
Calling out what the true divine nature is.
It's a good mantra to, because I use that mantra, I love you, just I love you, when I'm falling asleep. And
oh,
and
that's cool.
yeah, when I'm falling asleep, I love you. I love you. And it connects you to source, it connects you to God, and it also can help with your dream time, with your travels. Yeah. Take you to higher places.
Wow. I just had a flash in my mind of doing a recording of I love you, like almost like feminine voices.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, I think we need to talk after the show.
Yeah.
And just have that feminine, because it's the divine feminine energy that is rising up within all of us, males and females, and all the others, all the letters. And I apologize to anyone that I can't remember all those letters anymore. LGB, I can't remember. Your people and your loving hearts, and I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah. But we
It's
do have a
powerful.
divine masculine and divine feminine running through us.
Mhm.
Yeah, no matter what your gender choice is, but that's what we have running through us.
Mhm.
And that's the sacred divine feminine, sacred divine masculine. Um, I want to touch on something that you said a minute ago, about well, Paul Selig, the guys that channel through him, and this really struck me, is what you damns you, what you blesses you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I don't remember your exact words, Michelle, but it reminded me of that mantra, or not the mantra, but that advice.
Well, yeah. And, it's interesting because I grew up with several people who would use the G damn thing a lot.
Mhm.
And I remember as a child going, no. It was like, no, that's going to boomerang right back down. And I mean, it was young, but it was funny. And it is really important that we pay attention to that. And I grew up kind of using that term because my, grandma and grandpa, I love you, would do
Yeah.
that. Gee, damn, and they had an accent. They were a little bit hokey, and it was just like, gee, damn.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, words have power too, but
They
yeah, this is more
do.
about, what you judge, what you damn, like, oh, I don't like this, oh, I hate this, or whatever. Situation, person, whatever, it comes back at you. It comes back
boomerangs.
to
Yep.
you, like what you were saying, and what you bless. And that's what's so important about blessing situations, people that are not in line with what we would like. And that goes along with Yeshua's love your enemies, right?
Mhm. Just love one another. It's so funny. It's almost like I just see him standing there. It's like, I'm only saying one thing that you have to listen to. Just love one another.
Right. Yeah.
The most important thing. But it's not always easy. All of us have are not very loving moments, but
Yeah.
that's
And
when we need it the most too.
that's okay. That's okay. It's
And we're learning.
mhm.
We're learning how to love. That's part of the awakening.
Right.
We're learning how to love each other again. It's beautiful.
And it's so important for us, again, to not beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
If we fall down,
Yeah.
if we make an error in judgment, and it's still, just don't beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
It's so important. Does
It's
anyone
part
have
of
any
this plane of
questions?
existence.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Tim has a comment here that's interesting.
When I have things get thrown around by lower
Ooh.
vibration beings, I just laugh because I find it funny and amusing. Huh. Okay.
Remember that when you pull into that laughing, that it is not cruel laughter, because laughter should hold that energy of joy in it too. Because there's different kinds of laughter.
Yeah.
What's your consciousness behind it? Okay, Angelina's got to hop off. Blessings, Angelina. I love your name, Angel.
Oh, yes, Angelina. Thank you for being here. I hope we'll see you again soon. Okay, so Timothy says, acknowledge them is because they don't like to be ignored. I have tried that many times, so acknowledge them and laugh because they don't like it when you give them something they don't want. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting though that they're hanging around.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes, I've had experiences where I've had things, around that I just can't seem to get rid of, and I kind of ignore them, be like, oh, come on, whatever, and just kind of ignore it. And it tends to build, and so again, we go back to, it's really important to acknowledge, like you're saying, Tim, to acknowledge them and say, I see you, I see you, what you are. But also I know for me, and part of this is, I've been taught these things. And once you've been taught things, it's kind of like you're kind of responsible. It's like, what to do here, what needs to be done. And it's like you when it's important that there is a responsibility to use what to help out, whether it's entity, energy, consciousness, whatever that is.
Mhm.
And that is not that you're to go out and save and heal everybody else, but it's to stand in that energy and hold them in your heart and your mind as whole, healed, and healthy, or, filled with light or ascended or whatever, to give them the energy that maybe to get them up and out too. That's why, Tim, I was saying it's important that when you laugh, that it is laughter of joy and not laughter of like, ha ha, ha, you're so stupid. That's
right. That's mocking.
yeah.
And that's what they do.
Yeah. And
Well,
that
I
is
wouldn't
what
say
they do.
but that's what the lower energies do. Yeah.
Yeah, he knows. This Tim, he knows what he's doing.
I know I don't want to offend them. That only pisses them off. I do it out of amusement. For yourself, I guess.
It's
I
funny.
don't want
I
to
hear
offend them.
I hear like an entity going, "We're not amused." Like that.
What's his name? Dudley somebody or
Dudley Do Right.
no, isn't there the
I don't know why that just popped into my head.
yeah,
I know who you're talking about though.
I can't even think of the word for it. The bad guy in the cartoons, the old cartoons with the real thin mustache. The villain. That's it.
The villain guy.
What was his name? You don't know?
I can see his face and I
know,
can't.
me
I
too.
just Dudley Do Right stuck in my brain.
But he's not the villain.
Maybe
Anyway.
that's why that's where we're supposed to go. To the
Yeah,
Dudley
so-
Do Right instead of the villain.
So Timothy, I'm just really, and I know Timothy a little bit, but I'm just really interested in why they're hanging around with you. Why do you think that is? I'm asking questions now.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. They're interactive. And yeah, I'm learning how to do this to check out the live chat. Sharon, thank you for saying, well, use another device, go look at it. I'm like, oh, hello.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up technologically.
I don't know if we'll ever catch up. It changes daily.
It does.
Yeah.
And something that I want to just suggest to everybody, and I did bring it up before, is to get acquainted with the violet flame of Limitless Transmutation. Powerful tool. Can do a little Google. It's really powerful. I use it so much. And even a couple of nights ago, I just was feeling kind of creepy. I have a piano in my house and it's like from the 1920s ish. I'm not sure, it was donated to me, but it's an antique. And every once in a while, I know that there's something that comes. It came with the piano and then I asked it to leave, but every once in a while it comes back and it bangs on that piano, always in the middle of the night, just as I'm falling off to sleep. Right.
Is this happening now?
It's just every once in a while. And then I was like, nah, I have a rat. I must have a rat or a mouse in the house, but it's the same bang on that piano. And it's very interesting. So what I did is I started wrapping the piano in the violet light of Limitless Transmutation. And I have a picture of Jesus up on the little thing where you put the books, and did just a little energy around that. Haven't heard a thing. So it's been really good. But the other night, couple nights ago, something banged on that. And it was like, oh my gosh, not again. Not again. But it's weird.
Interesting,
and so
yeah.
Things kind of come and go. And I'm always really careful. That's another thing too, talk about portals. When you're doing any kind of spiritual work, you're creating portals. Even when you sleep in your dream time, you're creating portals. It's important to be aware that oftentimes wherever you sleep, there are portals there. Fill those portals with light and close them up every once in a while, so that your sleep is not disturbed too, especially these days. There's a lot of weird stuff flying around out there, and doing that. And I, right now, because I hurt my back and my hips, I'm sleeping in where the piano is. And so that was something that came to my mind too. It's like I'm sleeping in there, creating portals. It's like the hearth, the chimney and the hearth, me and the piano. So I've got like the perfect setup right there.
Yeah. And that's why that's a good point, Michelle. That's why it's really, I feel, and what I was taught is really important that whenever you do any kind of energy work, to close it down, have a closing, and that'll close the energy that, or the portal. And, you know, even during your meditations or your, any kind of energy work, your reflections, your devotions, anything like that, have some kind of a closing prayer. And that reminds me which is, an amazing, one of the best ways you can raise your vibration is through gratitude.
Yes.
Gratitude. See everything with gratitude. Everything with gratitude. Have a gratitude journal. Write down. Journaling is really, really important for releasing energy, releasing thoughts, getting all that, and for healing. It really is. It's, I mean, I don't know any counselor, any psychologist, not that I know any, but well, that many, but you know what I mean?
Tell.
If they're worth their salt in counseling, they will tell you to journal, to get it out. Yes.
Yep.
So that was the first thing that my guides have told me that I needed to do, was pay attention to my dreams and journal my dreams, journal my thoughts, journal, just get it out.
Yeah.
But gratitude, having a gratitude journal will raise your frequency and being grateful. And you'll find that you'll see things. You will see things with all three eyes, and you'll see things in a higher frequency.
So fun.
Yeah, and it'll just happen. It'll happen very quickly, as long as you see things that in gratitude. Something that pissed you off yesterday, and you're grateful for, you know, after that, the next day or even that day, you will see it in a much, much different light.
Yeah. Sometimes that thank you for that crazy experience. I didn't like it. I don't want to do it again, but thank you, because I learned a lot. I was aware of a lot. There were blessings in there. Again, don't want to do it again.
And you won't have to. We won't have to, as long as we learn from it.
Because that's part of the lesson too. And, you know, we always hear that when you learn the lesson, you don't have to have that experience again. And so it's
yes.
just.
Yes, very, very true. And, you know, and moving through it and understanding it. So Christine says, are star seeds more prone, yeah, autocorrect, right, to psychic attacks?
I think smoke prone is good. I think that was not an accident. I think it was perfect.
I like the word smote.
Oh my, when my
is that the past tense of smite? What?
It is. And when my granddaughter first started talking, she got upset with, I think it was her mother, and just said, I will smite you.
Where did she get that? She must have a past life as a knight.
Smiter, obviously.
A knight. Smiter.
That's a great, you know, Christine, I have to say, star seeds are smoke prone because they're very, very powerful.
Exactly.
And their job is to learn about how powerful they are, because they can smite you.
Don't mess with the star seed.
Don't mess with the star seeds. They are here for a very magical, amazing purpose. And that's part of the reason why a lot of them are drug through the mud.
Yeah.
So many of them come into these crazy families, these crazy experiences, but it's because they are mighty, mighty beings who can handle it. And they're the ones, you know, us oldies, we're leading the way, we're clearing the path, but you guys are going to be leading the charge into the new earth. And it's so exciting. I love the star seeds.
Well, yeah. And star seeds, from my perspective, are what you were saying about coming through with a lot of challenges in their life.
Yeah.
Going through a lot of challenges, a lot of deep traumas and things like that, because they made that decision to heal to heal all around, to heal the
Yes.
ancestry, to heal the
Yes.
line and all around them. They are
Exactly.
transmuters for those around them as well. So that's part of their power, I guess you could say, or their encoding, their
Yeah.
encoding to come and be a huge transmuter for a lot of the planet.
Yeah. They're transmuting a lot of stuff out of the collective.
Right.
And that's what I mean. They're like a whole other level of master beings that are coming in to really help with that. And I love it. And they're powerful, and they brook no nonsense. They're like, whatever.
Yeah. They mean us. So Christine, is that why I keep getting attacked the specific way I am? I was told I was one. Well, if you are feel you're being attacked, I would say yes. And if you feel connected with star seeds, always listen to your intuition, then I would say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we can look into it, but yeah.
And Christine, I want to tell you seriously, look up that violet light of limitless transmutation and start applying it, because it really, really helps to keep that stuff away if you feel like you're being attacked. And, I want to share here, I went through a time period in my life when I'd gone through massive growth. And I was in a situation where a lot of the people around me were very, I guess they were jealous that I took a leap up. I studied hard, I worked hard, I was persistent and diligent in my prayer, my spiritual practices. And all of a sudden it was like, poof. But I had people that were doing dark art witchcraft thing. I had several different people that were doing stuff on me. And I spent about a year and a half, maybe 2 years feeling that, oh my God, I'm being attacked. And I finally had a psychic person, because I couldn't figure out what was going on. And they said, holy crap, you've got it coming from all sides. And the first thing he said was, you need to raise your vibration. What do you do? Raise your vibration. I was like, ah. And he goes, you know how. And what had happened is, with feeling that energy and feeling under attack, and I started closing it all up, closing myself off, not doing my prayers and meditations, because if I opened up, I was vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it got to this thing, and it was like, oh my gosh, I always do my prayer, but I haven't done the whole thing in a long time. And it just slowly, it's like, just being diligent is so important, And that violet flame, I violet flamed everything. I violet flamed my computer, my phone, my TV, my front door, my back door, my cat, me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And Christine, that's beautiful, Michelle. I would also say that forging a connection with your star family is super important too, because now is the time for us to be aware of our multidimensional selves, our that part of us that is here, has always been here. They're just waiting for us to remember them or to connect. Not that they're impatient, but we're going through a portal. Yes, we are going through a portal, a huge portal. Humanity is, and Earth is waiting for us. So she can't wait any longer. Our universe is moving into this higher frequency. So I would say that connecting, making a conscious effort every day to connect with your guidance system, and your star family being part of that, will help you wake up those memories.
Yeah.
And as you do that, these psychic attacks or will make more sense, and they will, how do I put it? They will, I'm not going to say they will dissipate. That will dissipate because you are bringing in more of you're empowering yourself, which is raising your frequency, and you're realizing your true self, because we are not victims. We got to remember that we are not victims.
No.
We chose certain things in our life, which can, we can call it attack or whatever. And to be here, to go through this, to help us wake up to who we are, to our powerful, to remember how powerful we really are, that we are angelic, we are galactic, we are ascended. In these bodies, it's just a matter of bringing in as much as we can, as our body can take, of our multidimensional selves. And so these attacks, or whatever we want to call them, are meant to, this is from my perspective, what I've been taught, are meant to wake up that part of us, to remember, oh, okay, well, I don't want this to happen. This is crappy. Right?
Well, and what happened with me is I remembered my magic.
Yeah, there you go.
I had someone come into where I worked. She handed out had a little bag, those cute little gift bags. And she goes, "You'll know what to do with this." I'm like, "Oh, cool." So I get home and it's like a candle and sand and some few little things. And I'm like, I don't know what the heck, little incense, a little, what the hell? I'm thinking this lady's crazy. That night I had a dream of me being in the cave and having I'm getting chills, cloth over my head. And I was using the items that she had given me, and I was shown how to use them. Light this candle, put it here. This is the prayer. This is the incense. This is this, do this here. And it was like, and it was one of the things before I even realized there was all this weird stuff going on, but it was weird. It was right against the wall of the person I was living with that was doing dark magic. And all this, and boy, she got all shook up and she's like, "What's going on? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I don't know." But it dissipated that energy she was trying to put all over everything. And it was amazing. And I remembered my magic, and not just the act of magic, because I don't do Wicca or witchcraft or any of that stuff. It's actually alchemy and magic. I remembered that I was magical, and it was a hard lesson to learn, but I learned it. And it's part of the reason I can stand in front of anybody and say, I am that I am. I have no doubt in my mind. I am a powerful warrior, a powerful angel, powerful ascended being. And it's from that experience.
Right. And we remember these things. We've done it before many times. Many times. We're remembering it. We're not learning it. We remember. We're remembering. And we're learning it here in this expression, but we're also remembering. We're tapping into that part of us that has done this before. Many times.
Over and over and over.
Many times. Yeah.
And you guys that are watching, so have you. Remember, we're talking about you. We're not just talking about us. We're talking about you. And whether you're listening right now or listening later, if you're being drawn to this message is for you. There's a lot of people who know there's something magnificent within. And you need to hear these words. There is.
Right.
There
and
is.
we need
Trust
you.
that.
The planet needs you.
And we do need you.
We need you.
And we need the star seeds to wake up and bring their sparkly awesomeness. And all the other beings. We have so many wonderful, wonderful beings in human form and other forms on this planet. It's a giant melting pot.
Right. And you say change is coming, change is here. Yeah, change is here, baby. We are going through a huge change now as we speak, and it's just getting more and more bigger and bigger. Things are being transforming every day, transformation every day. Yeah, totally. And it won't be, we're the disclosure. We are the disclosure. Really? Yeah. We can't wait on the governments. We can't wait on the powers that be, whatever you want to call them, to tell us what to do and to tell us what is real, for one thing. Yes. We know. We are the disclosure. So as we connect to our star families and we connect to those higher parts of us, especially our star families, because they are there with us, and they have so much love and empathy for what we are dealing with here, and so much gratitude. It's man. Yeah. Totally. Me too. They're just their arms are wide and they can't wait for us to walk through this portal and to be in that space with them. And they're going to be they are walking with us, walking on the planet with us now. Yeah, we might just not recognize them. And you might see people that are like, that guy looks like an extraterrestrial, or she looks like a hybrid. She must be a hybrid, that kind of thing. So they're already here. We are already here.
And just to remember, many of them are telepathic. So when you think, wow, that looks like an alien, and they turn and look at you, you're right.
Yeah.
And
the
give
more
them
we
a wink.
I know, right? Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I
I know
see you. Or you can
I
do
see
one
you.
of these.
But the more we connect to our star families, the easier it is for us to be able to see them with our physical eyes and see them and have them in our physical presence, because it's difficult if we aren't aware of that frequency, and that because they don't always look exactly like us, so it might be really weird to us. Yeah. And I just the other day, I was telling Michelle, yesterday morning, I saw this Arcturian woman standing right in front in my mind's eye as I was waking up out of sleep, and there she is, just as bright as day and as real, like I see you. And so the more we work on it, the more they're able to show themselves to us in that real time way. Yeah.
And they love us. And I know I work a lot with the Arcturian beings, and I have a guide. His name is Ryobi. And for some reason, he wanted me to speak that word, and I'm not, his name, Ryobi, for some reason.
Nice.
But it's amazing when you start working with them, because you'll begin to attract the things in this plane of existence where we're operating, that aligns with that, and that will support you in that. Because still, there's still that consciousness of, oh, the little green men with the antennas and, that kind of stuff. And so much of what the movie tells us that aliens are, and they are deeply loving beings that we're connected to. We have their DNA within us, and many different species of beings, but it's encoded in our DNA. And that's why disclosure comes through us.
Right. And if you're aware of Elena Danan's work, she the beings, the Galactic Federation of Worlds that she's in contact with, say that we have 24 star seeds within our DNA, that we are actually royalty. So, hey.
I want my crown.
I know, right?
Where's
my castle? Where's my castle? Where's my staff?
Christine has a great question. She's asking, how do I find my star family?
Yeah, well, I would say, and this is how I did it, is journaling my dreams, because they connect to us in our dreams a lot. In your meditations, ask them to come near, ask them to come to you in your dreams, and then if you know how to astral travel, out of body experiences, that kind of thing, is a really good way to connect with them on a conscious level, and lucid dreaming. And then in meditation, ask them to come close to you, and tell them that you want to connect with them. It doesn't have to be a physical, where we see the lights in the sky kind of thing, where they're going to land on our front lawn and say, hey, I'm your family. That's if that happens, you're not going to remember it. I can tell you that, because I have lots of memories of that, and I didn't remember it in real time. Okay, so it has to come from within. That's how the easiest way for us to connect with them is from within, and in that space. Yeah. What about you, Michelle? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. She's saying, I've seen 4 light consciousnesses in my bedroom, and we talk telepathically, but I can't recall all the details. Yeah, I just know I was safe and loved. Right. And that's a lot of what the message really is, because it is telepathic. And so often the communication is beyond language. And which means it kind of has to bypass the processing of the brain too. And so that's a lot of times why we're not remembering stuff, because the brain's not registering it, and often because it's super high frequency.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like being clairaudient. a lot of times you don't hear, hello, I'm Archangel Michael. You hear it back here in the auditory nerve.
Right.
Because the high frequency, our own eardrums can't pick up on that. It's too high of a frequency. But the auditory nerve at the back of the head, we pick it up. And that's why a lot of times it sounds like voices in the back of your head too.
That explains it. That reminds me of experiences I've had in my out-of-body experiences where someone is telepathically talking to me and we're communicating, and I can't understand them, and I'll tell them, I can't understand you. Repeat that. I can't understand you. And he tells me it's because the frequency is, you know, raise your frequency, and I'm like, bring yours down. No, but yeah, it's the frequency is too high, and I can only get little words or little parts of it. Yeah.
And sometimes it kind of sounds like tuning in and out of a radio too. Remember the old school radios where it's it's kind of gets
Oh, thank you, Christine. Well, that's the best way to keep your vibration high, or one of the best ways to keep your vibration high is through laughter. Definitely.
Yeah.
We do laugh a lot.
Yeah. It's so important because really life is too short to not be having fun, no matter what it all is about, no matter what is happening in the world.
Yeah.
Seriously, we have this one moment in time. Let's make it fun. Let's make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
We don't need to fall into the abyss.
Right. That is so true.
I love that word abyss. I wish
I love
it wasn't.
the movie. I love that movie.
I'm
Abyss.
a chicken. I am.
You haven't seen it?
No, I just heard what it was about. And
it's about extraterrestrials.
Nope.
Really? I think you'll love it.
I'm a chicken. I would have to have someone with me and probably spend the night for a few nights.
What did they tell you it was about?
I wonder if maybe I'm getting it confused.
You probably are, because it's about light beings, extraterrestrials, and underwater.
Well, then maybe I'm thinking of another movie.
Yeah, you are.
Because there's one where they went and they fell down in a crevasse, and then they met all these things that came in trying to take them over, and some were light, some were dark.
No, that's not it.
Oh, okay. Whew. Yeah. Thank you for clearing that up.
No, I actually own it because it's such an amazing movie. It's about people that go down in a submarine and are doing, I think they're military or contractors. They're doing tests and stuff or that kind of thing. And there's extraterrestrials down there and they're stopping it. And so it's
because we know they are.
Yeah. But it's a really amazing movie. I will
go check it out.
Yeah, it'll really fill your heart.
Because I've been binging on Catfish and I'm getting tired.
Ew, okay. I don't watch that.
It's just, I've always been fascinated with psychology.
Oh, is that what it's about? Okay.
Yeah, and it's just when I'm watching it, it's it's about the online dating thing and people, what they do and what they get trapped in, and it fascinates me. But maybe I'll watch The Abyss this evening.
Yeah.
And Christine, if it's scary, I am calling you.
It's not scary. Christine, is it scary? It's not scary. She says the movie is fantastic.
I love Doctor Who.
I need to watch that because I've heard so much about it, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine turn me on to that, which is so fun. Yeah. Time travel. I'm all about that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay.
Very cool. You guys are awesome. Christine, thank you so much.
Yes,
this is fun. I love to be able to communicate with this chat. That's cool. I'm just figuring that out.
Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully we were able to help with any questions that the peeps here have had and shared what works for us. Anyway, we did that. So,
and also, if anybody is really struggling with any of these things, contact Sharon, contact me. It's what we do, part of what we do, but to help with this. And sometimes you do need help. We don't always have to do it alone. Sometimes we need support. I have people that I call Sharon. It's like, hey, something's going sideways, help.
Yeah.
And we all need help, and we're more powerful in pairs. And
Right.
there's that old saying, where two or more are gathered, there I am in the
I
midst
will,
there,
yeah,
that
I
higher
will be there.
consciousness is. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah,
So
totally.
don't hesitate either.
Okay. Yes, Ed Harris. He's amazing. He's in the abyss.
Oh, I
does.
like him.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's there's some intense stuff in it, but it's good stuff. Okay. And I like your
Awesome.
comment
Thank
about
you,
your kids are out
Christine.
of luck too. Like, I gotta go. Oh, that's the line. Yes. I gotta go, babe. Yeah. It's not scary. You'll love it. You'll love it,
Okay.
Michelle. You're a mermaid. You'll love it.
I do love things of the
You will love
sea.
it. Yes. And you're probably a mermaid too, Christine, if you love that movie. So look at, you have so much in front of you to discover about yourself. I mean, if you're interested in out-of-body experiences, I am teaching a course on out-of-body experiences and lucid dreaming starting March 6th. If you're interested, I'll have the information down below.
Yeah, put that down below.
Yeah, it's one of the best ways to connect to your multidimensional selves and your star family too, and your guides and your loved ones.
Yeah.
Is to be conscious in that state. And
amazing. I'm looking at my schedule. It's like, what am I doing? What'd you say, March 6th?
It starts March 6th. Yeah. It's a 3-week course.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And just to remind you guys, I have a spiritual development intensive this Saturday.
Ooh.
Learn about the 12 chakra system.
Nice.
It's the more advanced system moving into the new earth. We just got so much fun. Yay.
Okay. Oh, no, that's okay, Christine. I don't see any other questions. Everyone was very welcome to converse on here. So you didn't take up all the time.
Yeah, no, you got to have some extra 2-on-1. I don't know if that sounds odd, but you know what I mean.
All right. Let's take us out. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Have a blessed evening.
Blessings. Mwah.
Until next time. Mwah.